Although you might think that large construction mega projects are very carefully thought out, this is not always the case. Construction sites were delayed for decades and cost an immense amount of money. Stay tuned as we are going to tell you about the biggest skyscrapers mistakes in the world. Number 4. 20 FenChurch Street. Upon completion in 2014, a commercial skyscraper in London earned the distinction of being the ugliest new structure in Great Britain. However, the actual issue with the structure lay elsewhere. At 20 FenChurch Street, a relatively inexpensive but unusual mistake was made during the planning process. The walkie-talkie has a large glass front that reflects the sunlight, similar to many modern skyscrapers, but unlike the typical high-rise buildings, which typically have straight walls. This led to a problem during the day when the sun shines on the south side of the building. And unfortunately, this side has a slight concave curvature. The sun's rays were reflected 6 times stronger than usual in the summer, which led to extreme heat that melted even parked cars and caused cracks in the sidewalks. In a Sky News video, a reporter used only the reflected sunlight to fry an egg across the street. Ultimately, this issue was resolved, costing $14 million. Number 3. Aeon Center. In Chicago, the Aeon Center is the 3rd tallest structure. It was first known as the Standard Oil Building and was finished in 1973. The choice to cover the entire building in Italian Carrara marble made the building a sight to see when it was finished. The building had a beautiful facade, but it cost a fortune to maintain. The slab of Carrara marble that crashed into the roof of the nearby Prudential Center in 1974 was far thinner than the typical building materials used to wrap structures. The utterly inappropriate marble was found to be sagging and splitting all over the outside. According to an inquiry, in the end, the building cost more than $80 million to have its exterior refaced with granite. Number 2. Citigroup Center. In 1978, a significant issue with the 280-meter-tall Citigroup Center office skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan, New York, was discovered. Up until that point, the engineers had estimated the stability of the building by calculating the winds that came perpendicular to the building, but they had neglected to account for the quarter winds that hit the corners. The issue was identified during a conversation between a civil engineering student from Princeton named Diane Hartley and a civil engineer named William Lemasurier. As a result, the engineers have begun to conduct structural safety tests. They quickly realized that Diane Hartley, a college student, was correct. Lemasurier estimated that a wind strong enough to cause the building to collapse happens on average every 55 years. However, if the installed mass damper was unable to function due to a power outage, a wind that happens on average every 16 years would already be strong enough to cause the building to collapse with fatal results. To increase the stability of the Citigroup Center, the engineers worked at night for 3 months to find a solution. Ultimately, they welded 2-inch steel plates over the building's bolted joints. Number 1. John Hancock Tower. The I.M. Pei and Partners architectural team created the 60-story John Hancock Tower, which was completed in 1976 and is located in Boston. The architectural community praised it for its stark, minimalist design, but it was infamously troubled. The windows of the structure were a huge source of anxiety since they were collapsing to the pavement hundreds of feet below. The authors of the 1992 book, Why Buildings Fall Down, Mathis Levi and Mario Salvadori, argued that this was because the panels were subjected to repetitive, unforeseen thermal pressures. At a final cost of $5 million, all 10,000 windows would be replaced. One further significant issue arose at the John Hancock Tower. Although people typically aren't aware of the sway, skyscrapers are designed to sway to absorb heavy wind gusts. However, the John Hancock Tower swayed so violently that it made people in its upper floors squeezy. William Lemasurier, a Cambridge engineer, ultimately found a solution to the issue. So that concludes today's video. I hope you found it entertaining. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment in the space below. Stay tuned for our next video.